Hey everyone, in this video I'm gonna talk to you a little more about my experience, my direct experience with the cosmic divine mother, the great mother. And I would like to give you I have some notes here. I'm gonna be checking my notes. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them here in the comments. My background, I would like to share a little bit about my background with you. So I was baptized in Catholicism, in the Catholic Church when I was very little, for sure. Then my family, they practice a type of religion that it was developed in France. It's called Spiritism. So some part of my teenager life, I was, going through this, I was practicing some of these teachings. At some point, I became atheist and I had no connection at all with any type of religion. I was a kind of a rebel. And then at some point, when I was 23 years old, I was living with my art teacher and she introduced me to Buddhism. So after that time, I started to dive more into Buddhism philosophy and practices, and I've practiced different types of Buddhist Buddhist practices. So in the last years, I started diving into the teachings of A Course in Miracles, which was very transformative. And I never understood why I had this inclination towards learning more about different practices. And what I noticed about myself in the last year is that every time that I am attending some spiritual group, I always feel I always feel that I need to hide myself, or that I need to, not, I need to be careful with my words, because if I start talking about what I'm reading about something else, or about other religious practice, or other types of deities, or saints, or philosophy, I always feel that is not acceptable. And after this experience that I had, which was I believe in March 2025 this year, after this experience, I understood a lot about what spiritual growth truly means. And then I'm very happy to share this experience with you. So I still practice different modalities, different religious practices. I practice Japanese Buddhism, Nichiren Daishonin. I go to Tibetan. I read things about Tibetan Buddhism. I go to Zen Center sometimes. I practice the teachings of A Course in Miracles. And I'm always curious and open to learn more about the essence of every religion, or every spiritual practice or philosophy. And, there are places on earth that are open to this syncretism, to this religious syncretism. Brazil is one of them, India is one of them, and I believe that here in the US, there is this openness for an openness for fusion of different practices. So I just took here, I was just Googling, and so syncretism can result in the fusion of worship practices, such as combining elements from different traditions into a single ritual. And we can say that the New Age movement is this fusion of practices, right? It's not we are in the spiritual growth, but we are not related to any religion. So I would like to share my experience and share my thoughts with you. In the last year, as you know, I'm about to publish an Oracle deck, the Soul Synergy Oracle deck. And in the last 5 years, I've been working on this project, and I had the perfect conditions. I can say I had the perfect conditions in terms of practicality. But in the last years, I lost, I would say, actually, I can say now, I had a transformation in the conditions, and that led me to face specific aspects of my evolutionary journey. um I'm reframing my experiences right now. So what happened is that I had health issues. I had a breakup. I had to downsize to be able to focus on my project, on my creative project, because as a hypnotherapist, if I get busy, I have no time. I have no time for YouTube videos. I have no time for sitting for hours and hours and illustrating the cards and writing, researching, working, editing, and everything. And it is a type of project that takes a lot of time and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So due to my health issues, and I was calling in more time for myself to heal myself and to have time to complete the oracle. So I left my apartment, my previous apartment, and I went to live with a family member for 2 months last year, which was not the ideal situation. So I went to a cabin in the woods in the winter time in upstate New York. And that was a combination of not finding the perfect place and um, the willingness to have that isolation so I could complete. And and you can imagine that things went a little messy, and I had to sell my car, and my car was old, and I had no car. I was living isolated in nature. It was cold. At some point, there was no running water. I had no car. And it's still dealing with my healing, my health, and the rebuild of myself, the transformation that I was going through. The loneliness, the confusion, the doubts. Will I keep going? This is going, I'm going. There was a time that I felt I was going crazy. And at some point, so I can tell you that I faced one of the most difficult moments and periods of my life. And at some point, I realized that I needed miracles, and I tried all the practices, the meditations, the books, the journaling, and nothing was working for me in terms of direction, peace, faith. And I was trying to find that faith. And I will tell you, for sure I had support. For sure, I don't want to make that as dramatic, so dramatic, but it has some piece of challenge to this period of my life. So there was a day that I felt the call to evoke miracles, and what was coming into my mind was pray for Mother Mary, or for the great cosmic mother. Ask. I put an image on the wall. I started to light candles, and I began a process of prayer, a daily prayer practice. In the first day after the first prayer, the first time of devotion, asking for miracles, I had this dream where I was in a state of awe, surrounded by nature. Nature was speaking to me. The grass, the leaves, the flowers, the sky was blessing me. And I was just there belonging. I was just there feeling loved, embraced, in presence. When I woke up from this dream, I was in a state of bliss, and I was feeling the blessings of the dream. And I can say now, because I've wrote about it, but I never experienced, maybe I had moments in my life where I experienced the divine nectar, But in that day, I felt a stronger feeling of the divine nectar. So my intuition flourished after that day, and I started to be in tune with my inner guidance. I want to pause this moment right now, because now some of you might be, oh my gosh, this is crazy. What are you talking about? And I want to bring a little bit of the science behind this, or the technical approach that I have with my clients as well, because I am a hypnotist and we work with the subconscious mind. There is a spiritual master called Yogananda, and he says that when you are meditating on any saint, when you evoke in your mind the images of saints, you are connecting with them on some level. In the Course in Miracles, Editions of A Course in Miracles, which is a channel book, a book in spiritual transformation, these teachings lead you to tap into the divine, to tap into the divine within you, to recognize that Christ consciousness, our love awareness, is who you truly are, to remove the ego's thought system, right? So all these people, all these souls that came to the earth, or some are still alive, some are alive, like Dalai Lama, for example, such a powerful soul, enlightened soul. All the saints, they planted seeds of love, compassion, fraternity. And the seeds, they are seeds that, if we are open to let them grow, we become the seed itself, or we become the blooming. The seeds that they planted are actually our true divine essence. And what we are here in the process of remembering that we are the divine personified. We are the divine, and we are returning home to the awareness of who we truly are. So when you have an image of a saint, or an image of a highly spiritual person, being, soul, you basically remind yourself that you are that. And we are all connected. We are not separate from each other. I'm not separate from the plants here. I'm not separate from the sun, from the moon, from my dog. And I'm not separate from Christ, Buddha. I'm not separate from Yogananda. I'm not separate from the waters that are running in the rivers. And because deep within, unconsciously, we all know from where we came from and who we are, when we have a simple channel that we open, when we open a little channel to connect with this higher level of consciousness, we experience moments of remembrance. And all these moments of remembrance are miracles. In the Course in Miracles, they say that the teaching is about transforming fear into love, releasing the ego's thought system. So every time that you are operating through love, you are in a miracle. You are in the realm of miracles. So going back to my story, to my experience, I was in the state of in the miraculous. I was in the miraculous because all that I was experiencing, the heaviness, the baggage, the uncertainty, the doubts, what I'm doing with my life, why I'm doing this project, it's taking too much of me. I'm lost. Everything is not going the way I wanted to go. I want to have everything figured out. I need everything organized. Things are getting delayed. All of this that had a pause, and I was immersed in the miraculous, which is compassion and kindness, presence, belonging and connection. And then I was moved by this guidance. I was led by a voice, a guidance, an awareness. And the awareness simply said, be kind, be gentle, be grateful. So I started to move with the guidance. Okay, I began this process of simply allowing myself to be guided. We can call this intuition. But it all came after I evoked and worshipped the Great Mother. And what I learned is that the Great Mother, the symbolism is Mother of Jesus, but she's the representation of unconditional love that lies and resides in you and in me. She is the symbol of kindness. She's the symbol of acceptance. She's the symbol of gentleness. That's the divine feminine. And you find the divine everywhere you look if you are open to it. So the state of bliss and blessing stayed for a few days. And I'm grateful. So I would like to share with you what happened later. And how I am integrating this in my life, into my life. Okay, so after I become aware of this divine energy that wanted to flourish through me, I began to accept the guidance and follow through and follow that guidance. And what I discover is that the personality self, which is this set of beliefs, behaviors, conditionings that we develop to protect ourselves or to survive, don't serve this personality self doesn't serve spiritual growth or awakening. So my awareness, my intuitive awareness, or the Great Divine Mother was just showing me what I had to drop in order to be in the state of bliss. And the message was, it is up to you. It is up to you to let go. Do you still want to be anxious about the small things? Do you still want to be unkind with the ones that you have no patience? And unkindness starts here, in your thoughts, in your mind. You can be kind with someone, but within yourself, you're judging that person. And it's not a problem to judge. The problem is if the problem is rooted in not knowing that you are judging, not knowing that you are carrying impurity in you, and that you are exhaling or putting out energetically, putting out in the world in some way the evil or fear or separation in some way. It is up to you. Do you want to let go of resentment? Do you want to let go of the past? Do you want to let go of the plans you set for yourself that were created by the ego? Or do you want the divine plan? Do you want to serve the divine? And all these questions were breaking my personality, showing my face, who I am, what's the conditioning, what's the illusion and what's the truth. So spiritual growth is about becoming aware of what's real and what's not real. Spiritual growth is about letting go of your personality self, letting go of the ego's thought system, and blending, becoming one with the divine, with the pure awareness that you are love, that you are whole and complete as you are. And it's not easy, right? Because it demands commitment, it becomes vigilant, it demands vigilance. It demands that you become vigilant of your thoughts, how you organize your emotions, what you read, with whom you talk, what you choose, what type of work you choose.